Hi, hello. I'm gonna look for this is gonna be a short. Yeah, it wasn't this deck. I don't know what deck it was. It behind the Sun in Scorpio. Interesting. All right. So Aries. I just want to like try something because I know I'm obsessed with the Archangel Commander and the Demiurge. I love this combination. Um, I just want to try something. This is gonna be a whatever. I'm just trying to like the Empress with minor Empress at the bottom of the deck. Venus has gone into Libra. The Sun has gone into I don't have my iPad. Virgo. Held of the Grail, the Mason, Empress at the bottom of the deck. Maybe I should have read Venus. This chord that is like pulling. There's a lot of Chino. The sharpshooter. It's like excuse me. There's a force right now towards something new, different, and collaborative. And I almost have to think if something new, if new and different was redundant, but I don't think so. Because you can often have something new that is very similar to something that already exists. Something new, different, and collaborative. And it's almost like this the energy of that force, the spirit of that force is the stronghold of the Grail Page of Cups. And it's like if you can work with that new, different, collaborative energy, then things will progress like very quickly. That one second, someone's at the door, and apparently no one else is. Cool, we're back. Um, but yeah, it's like if you work with that, it's almost like there is a grant for it's like a topical grant. It's like if you are working in this industry or sector, it is identified as an area of need, and there is money that we are literally throwing at people, resources that we're literally throwing at people in order to address this need. And that's why it's like this Eight of Wands. I had it. Oh, that's hot. That little thing get a little warm. A little warm. It gets very warm. Oops. There you go. Maybe, maybe not. Anyway, it's supported. And again, the Empress is on the bottom of the deck. I don't know what this is. There you go. Sorta. Oh, yeah, or I could do Taurus. Taurus and Libra. We'll do Venus since the Empress wants to keep making it. So we're gonna do, and then there's the Ivory Shield. This is not working. It is what it is. I gotta remind myself. The Ivory Shield is with the Empress. It reminds me of when I was using the. It wasn't the Dungeons and Dragons Commander deck. It may have been the other one that I don't remember. And Venus kept coming out as like the legitimate businesswoman, like the woman on legitimate business, a seeker and the lovers. I'm not gonna be live long. I need a mostly a reminder for me. I do have a previous engagement for Venus. You'll see what we for Venus. I'll give it three. Cards keep just wanting to come out. One more, and I'm not even gonna cut it. Something that Venus could do to be a little bit more cutesy. Venus and Aries, the demiurge, Four of Wands, to be a little bit more mindful. Jupiter and Pisces, the Nine of Cups, to be a little bit more demure. The Vagabond, Five of Pentacles, and should it be the Gardener, Seven of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. More cutesy, yes. More mindful, yes. More demure, maybe. I don't necessarily think it's always to be demure. I wouldn't necessarily call the Eight of Wands a very demure energy, unless it is one. Um, for the Eight of Wands to be demure, it would have to be like extremely graceful in its movement. And I feel like the Eight of Wands has such a momentum that if it is graceful, it amplifies its grace because of the task at hand or because of what it's doing, right? To sit gracefully or to stand gracefully or to be a semi-stationary, to have a semi-stationary grace is easy, but to be dynamic and in movement and to be doing something that is difficult to do or that is so taxing and to do that gracefully, that's like an epitome of grace. You know what I mean? Matthew, hello. Yeah, it's not 2 o'clock in the morning. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. How are you doing? But there's almost This is like Venus and more selective energy. To be cutesy, it's like the Four of Wands. To be mindful, it's the wish granted. But to be demure is to be almost like scarce. And should it be? It's about like cultivating. Like Venus isn't just giving out its energy to anybody. That mean? Like, what is Venus doing? We got the stronghold of the veil with the kindred. Yep. Herald of the darkening and the three of chalices. These are many empresses, just like in the three of wands, the many emperors. We got Venus and Aries, Jupiter and Pisces, Mercury in Taurus, Saturn in Taurus, and now Mercury in Scorpio. Or not Scorpio, Cancer, sorry. So there's this Taurus Cancer trine sextile. There's this Mercury Taurus sextile. There's this Taurus Cancer sextile. I don't know any words, apparently. And Mercury is bridging. Aries is the only thing that doesn't have a touch point. So we have a Pisces Taurus trine. Oh my gosh, a Pisces Taurus sextile, a Taurus Cancer sextile, the Pisces Cancer trine, and then Aries that is located between Pisces and Taurus. Where it's like this halfway point. Now, but in this Taurus Cancer sextile, Mercury is present in both. Mercury is like an electron. It's not necessarily as expansive. It doesn't have the size of Jupiter to be in two places at one time, like how Russia is a transcontinental. No. Yes? Transcontinental country, Europe and Asia. I'm pretty like, yeah, I know Europe is a continent, Asia is a continent, but like there's no water that separates them. So it's like it's breaking my brain a little bit because I'm thinking of like, well, I guess there's, what is it, Panama that connects North America to South America, but it's just like so much, they share so much land between Europe and Asia. I was like, are those different? Anyway, it's not like Jupiter where it's so big that it's in two places at the same time. It's more like an electron where it's so fast that it can essentially be in two places at the same time. And then fully in Taurus is Saturn. Sextiling, there's fully in Pisces, Jupiter. So all of this is like beneficial. It's quote unquote good, but it's not, it's like selective with its time or energy. It's like watering what will grow. The Ebony Shield, Queen of Pentacles is the message of this page. Watering what will grow. This is the divine temptress in this deck. So It selects or it is more engaged with those that won't fall into whatever this temptation is. Bottom of the deck is the lovers again. Gemini. There's Gemini to sextile the Aries when these two almost like to complete the pair so that there would be three sextiles on the table. Pisces, Taurus, Taurus, Cancer, and then this Aries, Gemini. Let's look at Mars. I'm gonna leave these on the table. Why look at Mars? Because Venus and Mars, they're a pair. The High Priestess at the cut with the Governor. You can see this how taut this cord is. All right, Mars. Cutesy. The mini emperors. For the mini empresses. There's the three of this is the three of wands for the four of wands. So for Venus, for both Venus to be more cutesy and for Mars to be more cutesy, they're both sitting in the energy of Aries, which is interesting because it's Mars ruled. Let's do this. This is the third three we've seen today. We saw the three of pentacles, the mason, the three of cups, the kindred, and now the three of wands, the politic is here. Interesting. Today is September 1st, the ninth month, almost at planet, the ninth month in the Gregorian calendar. To be more mindful, the chancellor, justice. To be more demure, the archangel commander. And should it be the high priestess? Bottom of the deck here is the joined one, two of cups. Immediately, what jumps out, what stands out to me, so for Venus, it was Aries Pisces. What is like how Venus can be more mindful, it's adjacent to how it can be more cutesy. But for Mars, we have this Aries Libra opposition. So what makes Mars more cutesy may not necessarily be what makes it more mindful, or at least upon first impression, immediate perception. Archangel Commander is not demure. Again, unless there's an element of grace, I guess, like, yeah, but that was the energy, like a reserved Venus, a Venus that's not necessarily super whatever with everybody. Because, with the outside energy of the Five of Pentacles and like the shyness of what it means to truly be demure. But with this Archangel Commander, it's maybe like instead of demure for Mars, it's more about composure. and then the high priestess is here. We have the sun and the moon, sun in Aries, moon and Libra. So this could be a full moon Libra energy because we have sun and Aries opposing Libra, and it's again, it's just convenient if we put the moon in Libra. This could be the sun and the moon both in Aries opposing something in Libra. And I'm pretty sure because it's a Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. So it should be the Libra new moon solar eclipse. But then I would oppose both of these in Aries. So it's like it's for Mars to stand in opposition to something, but to be composed. For Mars to be able to like disagree in essence and not go to war about it. The seeker at the cut with the two of cups, because that's what Mars is seeking. So like, what is up with Mars? I really thought I would do this by science and not planets, but that's the energy today. Can't keep anything straight. Excuse me. You got to come out. The healer, Aquarius, is the card that came out. Aquarius, both trines, Libra, and sextiles, Aries. The bottom of the deck is Jupiter in Libra. So Jupiter opposing the sun, and it's the Four Swords. And in the window, you see the angel pouring from cup to cup, but here we have the healer that is pouring out onto the earth and the sea, which is interesting in and of itself because it's an energy of like one of these is almost released because it's poured out into the world. Now it plays a part of the greater, grander ecosystem. And the other of these is contained because it's poured from one cup into another, from one vessel to another. And we have this warrior at rest, whereas we have the archangel commander at attention. When the warrior is at rest, it is contained. But when the warrior stands at attention, it enters like environmental circulation. I think the high priestess here, it almost has a riddle like nature or quality to it. This is like, should Mars be more demure? Because for everything that Mars is, it's almost a question of like, how can Mars stand opposed to something and not tend towards war or destruction or whatever? And from a certain belief, viewpoint, experience, the only way for Mars to not be at war when faced with opposition is to like be asleep. What was the thing? It's for Mars to be destroyed, incapacitated, or unconscious. Those were the three things from that 5 of Wands challenge with the salamanders and magma methods. But if Mars is destroyed, incapacitated, or unconscious, it doesn't. It's like there's something that isn't received. It feels like it's for something to go into circulation. And so again, like we have to figure out how to have this composed Mars. We got to figure out how to make Mars demure, which is interesting because I remember Kirsty being like, "My Mars is in Aries, demure I am not." It's almost like because the sun isn't Aries, it feels like something is revealed. And because of the energy of prophecy in this card, it could be a moment of almost clarity where like there's a way that we're going about something. Hey Sandra, how you doing? I almost look like a lapras. There's this moment of almost clarity that's like if I continue to go about doing what I'm doing in this way, it's going to lead down this path or it's going to produce this result that is not desirable. But then it's like it's wanting to make a 180 because again it's at opposition, but it isn't necessarily. Maybe it's this moment of like, well, how do I do it? Do I double down and keep going in the same direction, knowing now that it's not going to get me where I want it? Do I go radio silent to prevent any potential shame or embarrassment? Do I own it? This incapacitation could also be a space of something like analysis paralysis, like constantly considering, but never necessarily making that move. Or do I just own up to it and then make the change that I know I need to? And this is like an independent decision. And so they conjunct in how to be more cutesy again. Both Venus and Mars are in the space of Aries. They in conjunct in how to be more mindful between Venus and Aries because Venus is Jupiter in Pisces and Aries is Libra. They square in how to be more demure because the Archangel Commander is the king of air. No, yeah, which is fixed air. Queens are cardinal, kings are fixed. So this is like Mercury and Taurus squaring an Aquarian energy. They sextile to. I'm pretty sure the moon is exalted in Taurus. I think. Moon exaltation. Moon is exalted in Taurus. So there's this like sextile exaltation in like why or if they should be more demure because you have Saturn in Taurus, the moon, which rules Cancer, that would be Saturn in Taurus, uh, sextiling Cancerian energy, but the moon is exalted in Taurus. So its interaction. would tend it toward exaltation. And so to be more cutesy and the motivation behind whatever is favorable, but to be more mindful and to be more demure, that's more sort of challenging for the both of them. And it almost feels like the burden of this connection lies on Mars because Venus is in this selective energy. So Mars has to prove itself worthy of Venus's cooperation, collaboration, efforts, whatever. And more so than proving itself worthy, again, it's that composure. Like Mars has to prove that it can be composed enough in the face of adversity and challenge. Because whatever this is, it doesn't necessarily have to be difficult, but it is not without challenge. And again, like if Mars can't prove that it can handle challenge, then Venus is not going to cooperate. And Venus is in a space again. This is Venus in a space of like, are you going to give to support what it is that you usually support? Because here's the temptation of the divine temptress. But this was a Venus that wouldn't give in to that temptation. Interesting. Hey Google, pick a number between 1 and 9. No, wait, never mind. We're gonna roll a D10. Hey Google, roll a D10. It's three. Three is Earth. No, I guess it would be the moon. The sun. No, three is Venus. The sun, Mercury, Venus, the moon, because Earth isn't in the chart. And we already read Venus. Hey Google, roll a D10. Hey Google, roll a D10. You rolled three. Oh, because the threes. It was the three of pentacles, the three of cups, and then the three of wands. If it says three again, that's the third strike, and we're out. Hey Google, roll a D10. You got four. Four. Four would be the moon, because five would be Mars, right? Sun, Mercury, Venus, Moon. Sun, Mercury, Venus, Moon, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. Four is the moon. And that's from the sun, from the center to the outside. The purifying holy water. Bottom of the deck is the lovers. Mystery of the covenant. And then behind that is the Two of Pentacles, the Nocturne. But there's like the South Node world and then the North Node world. And it's purifying this lovers energy. I might just leave it there. It's 2:10. Yeah, I need to end this. since this came out, excuse me, for the moon to be more cutesy is the tower, but it's Mars. And the moon came out in Mars as the high priestess. Oh, Aries, Aries, Mars. Mars was Aries. For the moon to be more mindful, the initiate, the fool, which is air, is an air sign. So far, this is like, if you're referencing the moon, see Mars. For mindful, no, for demure, it's the title card. And should it be the wheel of life, Jupiter? We have Saturn in Taurus, the priestess, and now Jupiter. Bottom of the deck is the lovers again. Oh, the purifier, the purifying holy water came out. The tower holds the axe of Shiva that removes corruption. With those two moons, look at that. Look at it. Cool. Uh, I was gonna go for Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Mercury, but I was like, let's leave it up to fate. Leave it up to chance. So, what's the moon like doing or up to? Energy of the moon in general, and you got to come out this if you want. The title card is here with the Wheel of Fortune. I'll give it three more. The devil is at the bottom of the deck. Capricorn, but it's that south node. And we saw the Nocturne, Two of Pentacles, which is whoever in Capricorn, as like that north node, south node world. The Necromancer and Apocalypse, 2018. Oh, it's interesting. What feels like it's interesting is like usually when we think apocalypse, we think destruction, but because then destruction. Well, yeah, it's more restoration than destruction. I was gonna say like for one thing to be restored, another thing is destroyed, right? If a forest were to reclaim a wasteland, the wasteland would be destroyed, but we wouldn't think of it as the wasteland being destroyed. We would think of it more as like the forest being restored because the implication is that the forest was there before whatever caused the destruction of the forest that gave rise to the wasteland. Last judgment and gateway of resurrection. It's for something to be returned, it's for something to be restored. Interesting. And again, the purifying was the holy water that came out before. The purifying, restoration, resurrection. But it's almost this roulette. It's giving me, like the ball that spins around the thing, and then it like eventually falls into one of the things. Capricorn is also at the top of this wheel of life. Well, Capricorn and Aquarius. Aquarius is also on the table. The healer is here. Again, this mostly barely aligns with Mars, which makes sense. If like for Mars to symbolize everything that it symbolizes, how can Mars do well with Mars being like action, drive, and there's a certain amount of like emotional involvement, and there's a certain amount of motivation that is internally motivated to move externally. Internal motivation for probably take a picture of this and make it like the thumbnail or something. I guess I should take a picture of it before I get like final cards are in. Now the devil's in reverse and it's a node. The north node right now, south node right now is in Libra. South node right now is in Libra. Libra came out for Mars. An old Martian energy would be the one that's more combative when faced with um, opposition. And so maybe it's not to fall again. It's sort of terrifying, reiterating that it's not for Mars to be the whatever. But also with that four of swords at the bottom of the deck, it's not for Mars to not be in the picture at all either. So Mars has to find this balance. Mars again, it feels like the burden of all of this falls on Mars, and because it falls on Mars, the moon is also involved. Again, because of all of the internal motivation and stuff that usually is the reason why Mars is taking action. The moon is literally all major arcana cards. The Tower, the Initiate, the title card, the Wheel of Life, Apocalypse, and the Necromancer. Mars had three majors. It was the Three of Wands, the Chancellor, Justice, the Archangel Commander, the High Priestess, and the Star, the Healer. Venus was all minors. Four of Wands, Nine of Cups, Five of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles. And then the Three of Cups, Page of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles. So it's interesting that Venus is all minors, but the responsibility. I don't even know if I'm live anymore. Oh, I don't think so. The internet just went out on my laptop. Wow. Let's see. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Hello? Do-do-do-do-do. Oh, hello. Interesting. It went full. You are offline, and usually when it goes offline, it enters buffer purgatory. But apparently today she came back. So that was weird. Good thing Mercury retrograde is over, right? See, that was Mercury stepping in because I'm not reading Mercury. But Mercury was up here as a bridge. There was the Taurus Cancer sextile, and Mercury was on both sides of it. Um, but anyway, it's interesting that so thank you. So many of the determiners, dictators, identifiers, preconceptors of the outcome, where it's almost for us to have the most influence or impact, it's all majors. And it's interesting because usually it's like the major arcana is something that's not in our control. It's out of our control. It's going to play out however it plays out in the realm of the minor arcana. It's like what we can most directly impact and influence. But it's almost the opposite here. It is the opposite here. And maybe that's because of it's like this inverse relationship. Is it 222? Oh my gosh. 222. You want to watch until it goes 2222222? Oh no. Oh, I caught it. 22222. Sometimes you got to exercise a little temperance, a little patience to catch the sign. I almost saw 44444 the last time I was at the gym, but I looked away. I had a thought, and then I looked back at the screen, and it was like 44452, and I was like, "Oh, it's like 11:11:11." I missed 11:11 a.m. I think that was what that wasn't 11:11 2011. Actually, yeah, it was 11:11 2011. I missed it in the morning, and then my friend, she was like sending me messages like it's almost 11:11, and I missed it. I missed 11:11 2011, but we're gonna have an 11 year coming up, right? If this is the 8 year, then in 3 more years. Anyway, it's almost like it's showing the different levels of impact. Impact major. Oh my gosh, it's coming out as all major arcana. Venus, on the other hand, is coming out as all minors. And if Venus is like what we attract, what we manifest, what we almost do passively, what occurs passively because of the position that we sit in, what our vibration is doing and aligning and attracting and pulling towards us is minor. That's why the Mars that was asleep just completely misses out. The angel pours the liquid from one cup into the other cup, and it never touches the water or of any, because for where we have the ability to make major arcana impact, we're not doing anything. It's almost like you have millions and then you have ones. And instead of electing to have even $2 or $3 million bills, we're going for like hundreds and thousands of ones. When if you have this $1 million bill, that's equal to a million $1 bills. So why would we invest so much here when we can get more bang for our buck here? Metaphorically, of course. Maybe it's because we're battling our own internal typhons. I pulled this card up. Something fell and hit the table. The minor, the pre-empress. Oh, we saw her again. It was pre-empress with the empress, or minor empress with the empress. The nine of pentacles behind that double card. Venus and Virgo. Cool. Oh, I gotta take the picture. All right, give me a second. I'm gonna have to finagle. Yep, I'm live. Okay. My computer did that. Like, it told me I was offlining. Woo, there go Patty. It's the coffee and the water and the everything else I guess I've been drinking flowing through me. And oh, interesting. The Queen of Swords is behind the Pentacles. If you're curious, if you're not curious and you heard me, now you know. Hey, happy September 1st. Yesterday, I felt like September was gonna be feeling like a whole new whatever, and then I woke up today and it feels like any other day. But isn't it always that day like any other day? I'm putting these back and getting phone cards. So I guess if the question is, should we be more demure? Depends on what you want. It's so interesting that Saturn. I was thinking earlier today about how interesting it is that Saturn is in Pisces. Part of Pisces that can be overly sympathizing and compassionate to the point of enabling. Saturn is there, like, no, Pisces, nope, mm-mm. We're in Aquarius now. Let them figure it out. The grotesque, Five of Cups, with the holy water at the bottom of the deck. 5 plus 1 cup equals 6 cups, and there's Apocalypse. Oh, then there's the 6 of Wands, the champion. All right, final card from the SAT. Mars would be the millions in that metaphor. Venus would be the ones, if that wasn't clear enough. Strength, the force, and battling the Typhon. Interesting. All right, final card. We got 2 of them, or more, like 3 of them. The Shining Quarry, wild and fertile land, Knight of Pentacles. The Magus, divinity in man, powers of spirit, the Magician. And the Sharpshooter, 8 of Scepters, 8 of Wands. Wild and fertile land, powers of spirit with the divinity in man, and the Knight of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the champion, Jupiter and Leo trining. That, oh, this is Mercury, double Mercury. Mercury and Sagittarius, Jupiter and Leo. Cool. Um, and then that's the scarab from the necromancer from the moon. The scarab from resurrection has found its way to this Knight of Pentacles, wild and fertile land. And the title card is at the top of the deck. Oh, no, there's a card behind it. I accidentally pulled the top of the deck. Well, boo. For energy of restoration, rejuvenation, making something what it once was. All right. I hope y'all have an amazing whatever. Whenever you see this, I hope you're acting alignments make all that you wish to experience your reality. I hope that whatever you need along your path, journey when you find. Thank you, Matthew and Sandra and Jen.